I'm Charlotte Roberts. I'm 17 and from Florida. My voting experience so far, it's been very challenging, very exciting, something that I've always looked forward to as a student. I grew up in a family full of politics. I've always been around politics. It runs in my blood. So when it came to voting, it was like basically the equivalent of getting a car. And this election, with everything, it's a presidential election in the first place, so with everything building up to it, it becomes a pressure on me to, perform my civic duty for the country. And I want a lot of time and effort to be spent on who I'm picking to, assume this role and who I would see best fit. And it's become one of those things where I have fought with myself in my mind and really tried to find out who I am through the voting process and what I think America stands for and how we should operate in the next few years. So I'm very excited about voting in November. It'll be great. Civic responsibility in general is not something that can just be passed or, swept under the rug, like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, like there are millions of Americans. No, you're very important. That's why there is a system in place, so that way your voice is heard. To not participate in that, to not research who you're voting for, to not go forth and cast your vote in the first place is honestly, it's scary because we've created a system in which you can contribute and you should contribute because America is not just one person. And America is based off of, so much and so much history and culture, and we've created a system that highlights liberty and freedom. And it becomes a responsibility on a person, whether you're 18 years old or whether you've been voting for 30 years. You need to go in with a correct, in your mind, how you should go about this process and be well educated so you know exactly what you want the future of our country to be, because you have that right in the first place. As a teenager, the issues that I face in my community are a tad different from those of adults. We constantly fight with the issue that we don't feel that we're totally heard, but social media has pushed this along, and we've found a way to contribute our voice to society in a way that's heard equally, and we can have civilized discussions about very large topics such as abortion or marijuana or anything controversial that really gets our blood boiling. And we've found a way that we can channel our voice into something that's bigger than us. And the community of teenagers in general is paving the way for the future of America. And we're starting to have those discussions earlier, which is very important. And as we develop with each other, we also develop our ideas and our identity as individuals. I've been speaking with my peers about politics since middle school. It's just something that has come naturally with the, news can be heard in seconds, and it's on our phones and we see it walking down the hallways, so why wouldn't we discuss it? And even if you don't come from a family that's particularly affluent in politics, you have access to this information and you have a way to form your own opinion, and that develops as you grow. So even if adults aren't exactly listening, or if we can't really convince our parents to hear our point of view, because of all the tension we've seen through people older than us, we've realized that it's more important to work as a community and actually be open-minded and hear what our peers think of one another and what they think of our ideas in a civil way before we go about fighting or, making a argumentative standpoint. It's more of debating ideas and not the person that's presenting the idea. So my father was a lobbyist, my mom is a city commissioner, and my grandfather was the mayor. So it becomes this thing where I've been raised in this world of politics and this world of discussing issues. And I was taught from a very young age that local government is almost the most important, because the president doesn't really care how your trash gets picked up. And the president isn't going to fix your water bill if there's an issue with that. Local government affects us day to day. And for some people, they don't really pay attention to what's going on locally because, it is more of a challenge to really seek that out and seek out what's going on directly in our community. So as I've grown up, I've found myself placing a much larger emphasis on local government because it is so important. Our day-to-day lives shape us more than just, the way America from California to New York does. So, as I've developed, I have found that I strive to be in public service, and I strive to stay not just like, oh, I want to be president of the United States, but maybe I do want to run to be city commissioner, or maybe just becoming a political activist in my hometown, because that's what affects us the most.